third Earth Angel travel tip is to keep that thing on you. Hello, 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 bonjour, ça va? Hola, ¿cómo está? Welcome to today's video. As you can see by the title, we are going to talk about ways to be traveling more sustainably. I also like to call these Earth Angel travel tips. Before we get into the rest of the video, I did want to introduce myself just a little bit more. My name is Shalina, and I would describe myself as a dreamer, a lover, a passionate woman overall, a yogi, and a certified travel coach. Travel and life abroad have been such catalysts for my life, for my own transformation, and just falling in love with myself and becoming more empowered. And so I do like to help others who are seeking an inner and outer journey do the same, cultivate the courage within, and make their life abroad or travel dreams a reality. So if that interests you, please make sure to check out the different things I have in the description box, my website, www.earthangeltravelcoaching.com. I am excited to talk about how we can travel more sustainably, because obviously there's no getting around it. Air travel is just one of the worst things for the environment and for the earth. So if there is anything that we can do to kind of balance that and still treat the earth with love. So my first travel tip for traveling more sustainably starts actually before you even get on the plane. It's just the mindset of in that pre-trip travel phase that can feel really chaotic and like you need this, that, and the other. And at least for me, someone who can overplan a bit or just feel like I don't want to get somewhere and not have this and what's something I really need. Being aware of not buying unnecessary items before your trip, unnecessary clothing. Again, as someone who can be a bit anxious in that department, it can feel really difficult to restrain, especially when you're walking to the store and you see the travel size section of things that you didn't even think about, like, oh, a miniature travel shave cream, oh, a miniature this, a miniature that. However, as someone who does travel a lot, I actually at this point, it's 3 months ago almost that I finished 5 months of traveling through South America. I definitely fell in that trap, and in my suitcase, I had this big tote bag of a bunch of different toiletries and medications that I did not even end up using, and they were just taking up space in my space in my luggage. And so that's just wasted money, wasted earth resources, especially when some of those things do have an expiration date. So I would just caution you to just think about it. And one thing that I try to always remember is that most things you can buy in the destination once you get there. There's pharmacies, there's everything like that. Of course, we know the things that we know we absolutely need and don't want to take that risk. But for everything else, just remember you can buy it abroad and it'll probably be cheaper as well. And in the same category is clothes. I feel like women probably, or femme presenting people in general, we may feel a bit more pressure into feeling like we need to refresh our entire wardrobe before traveling. And I would say again, just stay strong, sister. Like don't do it. It's not necessary. Of course, we may want to buy a cute thing here or there, depending on the location. Like when I went to Morocco, I definitely needed some more modest clothing that was appropriate for summer weather, because yeah, you can wear a sweater, but not in 90-degree weather. So I needed to find linen and those sorts of things. So of course I needed to refresh my wardrobe in that way. But I would say overall, usually with my travels, I would say 90 to 95% of the clothing I wear is clothing that I already have. And I personally find that really cool and grounding. It's like taking your avatar and you're traveling the world and you have the same avatar. So it feels really nice to just put on the same clothes that I have. Maybe I style them differently or that sort of thing. But yeah, just traveling with the clothes I already have, it feels really grounding. Then when I'm walking the streets and wherever, it's like, wow, I thrifted this shirt months ago and it's been in my daily wardrobe. And here I am wearing it in Colombia or in Rio and that sort of thing. So that's just something I would say. Again, sometimes you just need things. Sometimes you can't thrift or whatever it may be. It's not about being perfect. It's just trying and I think having the mindset. So the second Earth Angel travel tip, this is something more simple. However, I think it's a good idea. And that is on your long haul flights, save your headphones from whatever first long haul flight you had. Save your headphones from that instead of it's very easy to fall into the trap of every time you get on the plane, they're handing out their cheap little headphones and you just take another one knowing full well there's already one in your backpack or your tote bag. I'm talking about me when I say you. And so this is something I was very cognizant of I would say the past year, 2 years, is reusing those headphones. And of course, we know they're not high quality. They're not Bose or Bose or whatever. They're not high quality. But however, you can generally get a good 4 or 5 flights out of them before needing to get some new ones. And so I would just say, yeah, just keep them somewhere accessible. That's what I did this time around. And that way I didn't have to keep asking for them. And I definitely think it's the culture that we live in. It's something free. It's something cheap. It's something that we feel is disposable. But again, imagine how many people, if everyone on the plane or most people on the plane just tried to be more mindful of keeping the headphones that they had from their last few flights and just reusing them for a few times. I think the earth would like that. I mean, I think it's something very simple that I've been incorporating, and yeah, I would just extend that invitation. The third Earth Angel travel tip is to keep that thing on you. And when I say that thing, I mean a tote bag. So again, this one is also another simple one. However, I will say every time I chose not to put a tote bag in my carry-on, I always regretted it. Whether it was because I bought a couple things in the airport or once I landed in the destination, I ended up needing my tote bag sooner than I planned. Like maybe there was a grocery store super close or whatever it may be, and I didn't feel like digging in my luggage or digging in my other baggage at that time. Just put one in your backpack or whatever is a carry-on bag. I've never regretted it. Again, it's just something so simple. I don't really know what else to say. My next Earth Angel travel tip, I think this is number 4, is menstrual cups and other reusable period products. So we're going to talk about menstrual cups. We're going to talk about period panties, period underwear. I love talking about periods. I'm just going to put that out there. I think periods are fascinating, whatever you want to call them. I like calling mine my moon cycle, but I just think they're fascinating, and I've read books on them. And as far as traveling, I would say having reusable period products can really, really make life so much easier. I know that I'm going to start with menstrual cups. So I know menstrual cups are not for everyone. I'm trying to take this out with one hand. I know menstrual cups are not for everyone. I definitely can understand why that would be. However, if you ever have had any sort of curiosity or you're just any sort of curiosity, I've been using menstrual cups. What is this, 2025? I've been using menstrual cups since 2021. It will be like 4 years sometime this summer, since 2021. And they changed my life. I don't think I could ever go back to not using a menstrual cup. So the menstrual cups, most of them are made of some sort of medical silicone device. This is one I've used before, but it's not my main menstrual cup, because this one, and something about menstrual cups that I'll talk about, you need to know kind of your body and what works best for you as far as the cervix height. And so this one's just a little bit too low for me because I have a higher cervix. But you basically can put them in, you fold them like a tampon. Oops. So you can make them pretty, small and comfortable to insert in, and then it goes in, and they can stay in for up to 12 hours. Obviously, if you have a heavier flow or say a heavier time in your period, then you'll need to change it more often. On my heaviest days, I change mine about every 4 hours or so, and then on my light to medium days, I can keep them in for 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is. You just wash it in between uses, and then before each cycle, you sterilize it in boiling water. And so, yeah, what I like about menstrual cups, besides the fact that I feel like I can forget I'm on my period just because of how long you can keep them in, is that it really is an intimate experience with your body. When I first used them, I really had to kind of get in touch, no pun intended, with what was going on down there, and really just understand my body in a way that I never had. And in turn, I also got to understand my flow in the way I never had. You'll start to see that you're not really always bleeding a lot, even on your heaviest days. It kind of can come in spurts sometimes, and just all those things. And yeah, I just really love how intimate it is and how I've gotten to know my body from using menstrual cups. And for that reason, like I said, I can understand for a variety of reasons if a menstrual cup does not sound like something for you. There is a bit of a learning curve, especially I would say the first cycle or two. And so again, you do have to dedicate a bit of time to kind of researching and understanding, but there are so many materials online, and I will put like a screenshot of this one lady's I was watching, Period Nirvana, who helped me make the change and kind of guided me through everything. But yeah, there's so many resources online, and I definitely recommend it. I would say the only drawback for menstrual cups is when you're out traveling, that's one thing as far as like you're in your destination, you have your period, definitely, again, a game changer. However, on a travel day, they may not be the best, only depending on your comfort level, because if you do need to change it during the day, I, for one, am not putting my hand in a public toilet because, you kind of have to scoop, not scoop, but, like where, the anatomy. And so for me, that's outside of my comfort level. So generally on travel days, if I'm have my period and I'm actually traveling, I will use a period panty and then like an organic tampon or whatever it may be. So that is, nothing's perfect. At the end of the day, we are just trying to figure out what to do with this blood that's falling out of us every month. So it's not always going to be glamorous or perfect. And then the other thing, again, is period panties. I think period panties are much more mainstream now than they were even 5 years ago. I started using period panties in 2019, I believe I made the switch. Absolutely love them. I used to only use them for a while, but then again, I just wanted something that could give me a bit more freedom, and menstrual cups gave me that for sure. And so, yeah, I don't think period panties, I think, are pretty mainstream now, but definitely have them in your wardrobe, and you also get to save so much space in your luggage and those sorts of things when you're traveling. Yeah, I'm very much, this is my main menstrual cup, and my main menstrual cup, like, she's been with me to 10, 11 countries. We're locked in. So the fifth Earth Angel tip is, again, going back to the idea of being mindful in your mindset, is being aware of souvenir purchases. This is something this is a new growth edge for me, is because a lot of my destinations, I'll just buy a bunch of them. They're cheap. I'll get this for my sister. I'll get this for my aunt, my uncle, whoever. And of course, there's something really sweet to buy something something for someone in a different country because you thought of them. However, a lot of my souvenirs end up not giving away just because, I don't know, sometimes I just look at them like, is this even worth giving, this 50-cent keychain or whatever it may be? Or I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of been sitting with, like, does this object really kind of say anything about my experience, or is it just kind of a purchase I didn't need to make? And it's one thing to buy something that's very specific to someone and very intentional, but, just a little trinket, souvenirs, that is just something I've been sitting with personally because, again, right now I have so many in my dresser just because I never ended up giving them. I still haven't seen the people yet, whatever it may be. And so I would just say that, like, this time around when I was traveling, I tried to buy things that were very specific. And some of that may be something that is not something that they can keep forever. Like, for example, when I was in Colombia, I know my granddad, my pops, he drinks coffee. So I brought him coffee beans from Colombia. And so, like, I'm someone who personally, I do like giving things that someone can really use and stay. And even though coffee isn't like something, it's not gonna say Colombia on it, so you can't put it on his dresser, I think being able to make coffee is something really special. And so just things like that. It's just something I've been thinking about for myself as far as mindset. And I don't know if minimalism is a word, but again, just being mindful of the purchases that I'm making. The sixth Earth Angel tip is something more simple, but public transportation. Let's get into it. Obviously, if you are from most parts of the United States, in the suburbs, not in New York City or any other downtown area, public transportation is virtually non-existent. If you don't know, I'm sure many people who care about public transportation are aware of the decades of lobbying and larger corporations, car companies getting their way with basically designing the current American landscape that we have, putting highways, bulldozing them through neighborhoods, many of them which were Black and or minority, people of color neighborhoods, and just making American towns car dependent. Because at the time, they really pushed the idea, and there was a lot of propaganda that cars were the future. And maybe for a hot second that was the truth, but if you see, there's so many great documentaries, even on YouTube, where you can see how a certain city looked in the 1920s versus now, and the public transportation that they had and the walkability. It really will hurt your heart to see, like, some of the, even places like Cincinnati, Ohio, like, no offense, but like places like Cincinnati, Ohio, if you saw the downtown area in the 30s, it literally looked like you were in Europe somewhere, just the main street. And it's just really sad that we don't have that. But depending on where you're traveling, many cities have some sort of easily accessible public transportation that you can use, especially if you're in Europe. And for Americans who may not be used to using public transportation, or anyone depending on where you are, it can be very intimidating. So I'm going to recommend, of course, there's Google Maps. Google Maps and their public transportation, as far as their bus lines or bus routes, have come a long way, I would say, over the past 5 years. But if you are looking for a specific app, I would recommend the Move It app. I've used the Move It app in so many different countries, and even in the United States, and it has this very clear layout. You can see where your bus stop is when you put in your destination and you're on public transportation. It will even let you know when it's time to get off, when it's like your next stop, 2 stops away, and then again, it will vibrate at each one of those things, so it makes it impossible to miss your stop. And yeah, I think it's a really great companion if you are getting used to public transportation, it's your first time navigating it. I would say the only thing about the app now, it does have quite a bit of ads, so it's not as, I think it really is pushing you to buy. It's like 50 cents a month if you do. I haven't, because it's still usable. It's just annoying. Didn't used to have ads, but I guess that's late stage capitalism. Okay, I don't know. I just laughed at my own joke. Anyways, public transportation, get into it. I just think public transportation is the what do they say, the unifier of the people, and just all those great things. And I cannot wait until I'm back living in a place that is walkable with amazing public transportation very soon. The 7th and final Earth Angel travel tip is something I found just for this video. Personally, for me, I like odd numbers over even, and so I just felt having 7 sustainable travel tips had more of a ring to it than 6. So I was researching to see what could I think of, what could I find, and I came across this organization called Sustainable International Travel. This organization allows you to offset your carbon footprint by putting in your destinations, the places you've been, in a calculator, and then it will create a calculation of exactly how much carbon is used, and then you can choose to pay to buy, basically have your money go toward either initiatives or organizations that do the work to offset carbon, be it organizations that plant trees, organizations that fight and lobby for initiatives that help the environment, that sort of thing. And so that's a really great opportunity. I have not put my money toward it yet, but I definitely will be in the future. And so I just thought that was a really great opportunity to come across. And when you are in a place where you can take the train for some places instead of taking the airplane, that of course is a really great alternative, which I look forward to doing in the future. That's basically everything I had to say for my 7 sustainable travel tips. I would love to hear if there's something that you're aware of or something that you do to travel more sustainably. Make sure to share it in the comments. Also, if any of the things that I mentioned, if they speak to you, if there's something you want to try implementing, I would love to hear that as well. But other than that, I think that is everything. I'm hearing the birds chirp out of my window, and I really hope everyone feels like their year is treating them well so far. Whatever you may be going through, whatever you're navigating, I am very much sending you loving and peaceful energy. And again, make sure in the description box to check out all the different offerings I have. Check out my website, Earth Angel Travel Coaching, if that is something that interests you. If you are interested in booking that first solo trip, or thinking about relocating yourself, teaching English in a different country, I've done all of these things, and so I would love to be a part of your journey to help make it happen for you. So yeah, with that being said, I will leave you here. We will see each other very soon. I have so many video ideas and I can't wait to use this as another platform and creative expression for myself. It's something I've wanted to do forever. Honestly, this is a dream fulfilled, if I do say so myself. So yeah, we'll see each other very soon, and wishing you lots of love. And again, never forget you're worthy of each and every one of your dreams. Bye.